Browns media is done with Dillon Gabriel. After another ugly offensive showing, reporters are saying what fans have been screaming for weeks, it's time for Shedeur Sanders. This is bad, man. When the media is done with Dillon Gabriel and they making jokes and they talking about they cussing at the TV and the kids don't repeat what they say, this is bad. Even that hot air balloon they saying Dillon Gabriel threw up, man, he been overthrowing receivers in training camp. It's ridiculous. He missed Jerry Judy wide open in training camp. So what you expect in the game?
What if I told you Cleveland's so-called golden boy just blew up online, and not because he threw a game winner? It started with a reporter, a hot mic, and a moment that should have stayed off camera. In seconds, the clip raced across timelines, and the city's next big thing, the quarterback everyone was told to believe in, became the internet's favorite punchline. This wasn't routine backlash after a bad throw. It was a detonation, the kind that makes PR scramble, teammates go quiet, and fans stare at their phones wondering what just happened.
Can get. Dillon Gabriel is a limited player at the quarterback position. He puts a ceiling on whatever your offense is capable of doing. Not that the offense was lighting it up with Joe Flacco as the quarterback, but it's gotten worse with Dillon Gabriel as your guy. And at some point, you have to move on just for change's sake, if for no other reason, to give hope to the other 52 guys in the locker room that maybe something can change. Maybe we can find a way to run into something.
Cleveland's hero was trending for all the wrong reasons. And here's the twist. The story isn't just about one frustrated rookie. It's about what happens every time Cleveland builds a savior just to burn him down. The same fans who cheered last week are posting memes this week. The same media that called him the future is now serving think pieces on why he never was. If you've lived in this town long enough, you know this rhythm by heart. But this time it didn't start on the field. It started behind the cameras, inside the circle that built Dillon Gabriel's image and then tore it up.
A couple of days that the Browns media is done with this whole Dillon Gabriel thing, and everything is looking suspect with them and this whole Shedeur thing, because it looked like there was definitely a planned attack on Shedeur character and performance on the football field, set in stone by people that work in Cleveland media. People can say what they want. I'm holding true and definitely believing that there was a conspiracy to depict Shedeur playing ability to be a certain way and to depict. Y'all remember when he got that speeding ticket, right? It was a speeding ticket.
The moment it stopped selling and in the smoke, one name keeps echoing back. Shedeur Sanders, the guy Cleveland buried months ago, suddenly floating back to the surface. Cleveland doesn't just play football, it performs it. Every season begins like a movie trailer. Dramatic music.
Granted, was he going fast? Yeah, he was going fast. But the fact of the matter is, they blew it out of proportion. Myles Garrett, like 2 weeks later, ended up getting a speeding ticket too. But you didn't see it reach the heights that Shedeur did. You didn't see multiple upon multiple videos coming out from these Cleveland media people talking about Shedeur talking about Myles Garrett getting that speeding ticket. But it's things like that that played out to me during the offseason that tried to hurt.
Slow-mo drills, a coach promising a fresh start. Then give it a few games, one awkward presser, one red zone stall, and the old chaos returns like lake effect snow. Drama isn't an accident here, it's tradition. Coaches whisper about culture, fans scream about quarterbacks, and the media plays director, choosing who's the hero, who's the villain, and when it's time for a twist. This season was supposed to be the one with a young quarterback, a united locker room, and a smarter system. Look closer, and the cracks were already showing. The same analysts praising the new direction were sharpening knives for the first misstep. When it came, they pounced. Gabriel's quiet confidence was repackaged as arrogance. His poise became detachment. Every expression turned into a segment. Build you up on Monday, bury you by Friday. That's the business model. And it didn't start with Dillon. It started when another name got dragged for daring to be different. Before Dillon ever faced the fire, the storm had already taken Shedeur.
Is on 9 targets for wide receivers.
Yes. That's ridiculous.
Why?
Because
is it Dillon? He can't throw the ball downfield. He can't throw the ball.
Does he not see the guys down the field? That's one thing.
And he has seen.
Jeff, I watched the play.
Seen players down the field his entire college career playing behind 6'5", 6'6" offensive linemen. I don't want to hear he can't see because
Jeff,
the guy. The guy was a Heisman finalist by throwing the ball downfield and seeing.
It's not just about height. It's about not reading the...
The media didn't just critique him, it caricatured him. Reckless, arrogant, undeserving of hype. It began with a nothing burger, a speeding ticket. No chase, no confrontation, just a ticket. Cleveland turned it into a referendum on leadership. Radio shows moralized for a week, dissecting maturity like a lab specimen. 2 weeks later, Myles Garrett got the same ticket. Zero moral theater, zero lectures, just a brief mention and silence. Same offense, different coverage. That's the game. Outrage is targeted. When a player fits the safe template, he's protected. When he's too confident, too unfiltered, he's painted as a problem. What those headlines never bothered to mention, while the press dragged Shedeur, he was visiting schools, talking to kids. No cameras, no PR team, just showing up. Authenticity doesn't trend, but it threatens a machine built on image. Shador didn't fit the template. Calm, confident, unfiltered, everything local coverage couldn't control. Instead of celebrating it, they labeled it ego. The shift in tone trained the public for what came next. He wasn't a fit, he was a distraction. Then Dylan arrived. Clean cut, polite, marketable, and the city grabbed the easier story. When Gabriel showed up, Cleveland exhaled. After months of debates over Shedeur, fans wanted calm. Dylan looked like calm. The narrative locked in instantly. Steady, safe, grown up. Every camp throw was proof the Browns had found balance. Insiders whispered that Kevin Stefanski had his guy. For a blink, caution got mistaken for progress. Dylan stacked a couple clean drives and stat lines. No disasters, no magic. For a moment, that was enough. Then the slow losses began, familiar and suffocating. Praise softened to patience, patience to warning, warning to smirks. Whispers became questions. Is he the answer? Did Cleveland crown the wrong man? No one wanted to say it out loud yet. You don't abandon a savior midseason unless forced. The countdown ended the night a mic stayed hot. It happened fast. A reporter known for playing it safe forgot the switch and torched Gabriel on air, called him a ceiling, not a solution, ripped the front office for pretending he was ready, even questioned Stefanski for betting a season on caution. It wasn't analysis, it was an execution. Shows looped the clip, podcasts dissected syllables, and the internet did what it does, turned disaster into entertainment. Memes flew, interception chronicles, 50 shades of screen passes. But the real revelation wasn't the leak, it was the pivot. The very voices that sold Dylan as the future started rewriting history. We always had concerns. They recast themselves in real time, and in the chaos, another name returned, Shedeur, now framed as a maybe we were too harsh. Cleveland's favorite magic trick, rewrite the script, pretend it was always the script, was exposed in 4K. Fans noticed. Players noticed. Inside the building, people started asking what else was curated, what else was spin. The clip didn't just scorch a quarterback, it cracked the franchise's self-image. The moment it hit social, the team lost control. Twitter turned into a street fight. Reddit labored over breakdowns. National pages turned hot mic roast quarterback into oxygen. The fan base split, half defending Dylan as betrayed by media, half saying the leak confirmed every missed read they'd seen for weeks. PR tried a unity statement. It backfired into a trending hashtag mocking the spin. Players like cryptic posts about accountability. When Mary Kay Cabot weighed in with her measured communication and focus line, the subtext was obvious. The locker room didn't trust the messaging. And in the middle of the storm, people started resurfacing old Shedeur clips. Him keeping composure, him handling loaded questions without flinching, him with kids in schools. Comments flipped. Maybe they picked the wrong guy. The kid crucified for confidence had become the example of composure. The safe pick had become the punchline. For once, the media couldn't fully rewrite because the audience had receipts. When the noise settled, the pattern remained. The Browns sell hope with a new face, then force that face through a grinder of hype, denial, and reset. Coaches cling to their guys. Executives mistake denial for strategy. Media milks clicks, then claims innocence. Stefanski wanted Dylan to be proof the system works, but the attempt exposed how little had changed. Players felt it, quiet tension after missed throws, eyes that said the speeches weren't landing. Meanwhile, the same outlets that built the pedestal covered the collapse like they had no part in the architecture. That's the cycle. Build the myth, watch it burn, cash the rating. This time the burn illuminated something else. Shedeur hadn't cracked. Through the smears, he stayed steady. The conversation shifted from too flashy to maybe we didn't let him grow. By late season, the question wasn't who's the guy, it was how does this keep happening? Different names, same heartbreak. The real curse isn't the players, it's the pattern. Cleveland doesn't lose because it picks the wrong people. It loses because it refuses to let the right ones grow. Gabriel isn't the first to get chewed up by that system, and Shador won't be the last if the machine doesn't change. The franchise builds saviors and breaks them the moment reality intrudes. Still, there's that stubborn beauty. Fans keep coming back like believers to a bruised cathedral. They don't just want wins, they want redemption. That's why this saga stings, because it isn't only about football, it's about faith that survives disappointment. So where does it go from here? The hot mic moment won't be the last twist. Maybe the front office doubles down on damage control, swaps narratives again, and hopes the timeline cools. Maybe the staff admits the obvious, that leadership means adjusting when reality punches the script. Maybe the next chapter isn't another savior poster, but honest reps, real competition, and the humility to roll with the quarterback who actually elevates the huddle. If that's Shedeur, own it. If it's Dylan after real growth, own that too. What can't happen is the same old charade. Spin a myth, ration hope, and call it process. Cleveland has a roster that can hit, a defense that can travel, and a fan base that sells out its lungs in sub-zero wind. What they need is an offense that tells the truth with its choices. Right now, the city stands at a familiar crossroads. Cling to a narrative or commit to reality. The hot mic didn't doom Dylan Gabriel. It exposed an ecosystem that turns quarterbacks into content. It didn't vindicate Shedeur by itself. His steadiness did. If the Browns want out of the loop, they have to do the boring revolutionary thing. Let performance beat politics, let timing follow tape, and give the guy who wins the room the keys long enough to drive, not just to pose in the showroom. Fans can accept mistakes. They can't accept manipulation. If you're still here, drop a quick like so more Browns fans see this breakdown, and hit subscribe if you want honest, no-spin deep dives instead of recycled press quotes. Soft reminder, sharing this with that one friend who lives in the group chat helps a ton. Bottom line, was Dylan set up to fail, or is Cleveland addicted to a cycle it can't quit? Did the city bury Shedeur because he didn't fit the script, or because the script was never meant to change? Sound off in the comments with what you've seen at practice, on film, or in those little sideline moments TV misses, and lock in for the next upload. When the Browns finally pick a direction, we'll grade every snap and tell the truth the press conference won't. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because in Cleveland, the drama doesn't end at the whistle, it starts there.